Okay.
Right.
Session 0. This is a new campaign. I am Jesse, Jesse's Brick Galaxy. I've been a Lego Dungeon Master for a couple of years now, and I feel comfortable with maybe some homebrew and some new characters. It's 2024. We have new players' handbooks from Dungeons and Dragons. So some characters in here. I want all the players to kind of explore the new features and I'll also have a Dungeon Master guide that's new this year, and it will give me some tools to help guide the players in some world building. I'm going to practice some world building. My first campaign was pretty much box sets, going by the book and letting the players figure out the mechanics and a little bit of role play. And now I want to do a little more role play and
Even it out a little bit.
a little more world building, a little more imagination, a little more improvisation. And Steve here joined halfway in and higher level and didn't really get to start at low level. So welcome to my new campaign, Steve. Do you want to introduce yourself and your little Lego community history, maybe?
Sure. I primarily hang out on Instagram. So I've been on Instagram maybe 2 or 3, 4 years. I can't. It's a blur. But
And it's just your name. You don't have a brick name.
Yeah. No, it's just my name, Steve Pulda. Yep, I'm really creative. I couldn't think of anything cool. There's so many bricks and brick names on Instagram. I just use my name, I guess.
That's fine. That's why I left Jesse in my brick name. I'm like, I don't want, it's Jesse, and then there's a brick name too.
Yeah, I primarily do mock building, so I enjoy sets here and there, but
that one there, right behind you,
big Spider-Verse one. Yeah,
well known for the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
buildings projecting out to the side, glitching out. Very cool build.
Yeah.
And now we're playing D&D with Lego.
Yep. I used to build on Friday nights listening to you guys, and that's kind of how it all got started. You guys needed a 4th player one night, and I'm like, sure. I've kind of been itching. I knew a little bit of the game mechanics, but not a whole lot, and kind of got thrown in it like mid to high level. And
right into the fire.
Learned as I went on. As I started, so yeah.
It was a pleasure having you on and joining your interest in the different characters and backstories is something we kind of didn't get to do with you. So I'm giving you the highlight this time around. I mean, I did a session 0 with everybody, but it was everybody all at once. It wasn't as personal. Chaos. And the Chaos crew started off like they do. Yeah. So we're gonna grab DnD Beyond and create a character. I know you have a monk and a sailor story all kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, I've got it started out with bullet points, but I've got 2 pages worth of backstory. I can share it all. I can share some, whatever. But
let's start with that. Let's start with that because the story will lead us into the thematical mechanics of how the player works. So
now, do you want to know what my 3rd level subclass is going to be?
No.
Keep that secret?
You're not even going to have that. You might even change your mind by the time you get 3rd level. I'm going to start you off at level 1.
Yep, but I'm pretty confident what I'm going to be going for.
Okay, I mean,
there's a lot of points in my backstory that kind of lead to.
You can share that.
Okay.
You're going for what subclass?
I'm going to be an elemental monk.
Okay.
So I'm going to have command of the elements. Yeah.
Yep. Airbender style.
Yep.
Yep. I did the same thing. Like you gotta be.
It was a shadow monk, and I'm like, I don't want to have to ask you every time what time of the day it is, and if there's a shadow by this tree. And
right. Well, you make your own shadows.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Yeah. No, it's a good theme. The superhero monk is a good class. and we will work our way up to it fast, no doubt. 1 through 3 will go pretty fast. So share us a little more about what you're thinking your character backstory would be.
Sure. I'll just kind of go and you stop when you think we should talk about something. So,
Okay.
um, my father, as a child, my father was the town's blacksmith. And so, as a young child, I spent many hours being fascinated by my father's vocation and mesmerized by the open flame and the shaping of the steel and the metal.
Hmm.
Um, so, sometime during my childhood, our town was raided by pirates and marauders. Slash Mars. I'm not sure exactly who raided my town, but maybe that's a secret for later. Um,
Mhm.
both my parents and my younger sister were murdered
Oh, no.
in that raid, and I was sold into slavery. Um, I spent a few years literally in a sweatshop making glasswares like bottles, jugs, dishes, that kind of stuff. Um, I was kind of There's one show on Netflix I really like watching called Blown Away, where it's like a glass blowing competition, and
Mhm.
like that that like the actual like location and like the workshop is super like brutal. It's like hot and it's tiring, and you're working and you're just like sweating.
Yeah.
So I think like the blowing the glass and assisting with the glass blowing, you're working with fire and you're working with air. So that's kind of where, to tie in with my father's blacksmithing, that's kind of where I'm getting the fire and the air elemental
Wow.
in my backstory.
Okay.
Um, uh, at some point, I'm not sure how long I was there, maybe a couple years. At one point, I escaped the sweatshop
Mhm.
and I live in hiding maybe for like half a year. I escaped long enough to like have an impact on me. And I think maybe that's where Earth could come in to like my elemental, whatever you
You're in
want
a
to call it.
cave, like,
Maybe, yeah, yeah. I'm just like I'm relying on the land maybe a little bit.
yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to get Earth in my backstory, so
This is
I thought
wild.
maybe that was a way to do it. Um, and it was about a half year before I got recaptured. When I was finally recaptured,
Oh,
I
wow.
was beaten and punished within like a breath of my life. Like they were angry that I left. So they beat me and they shipped me off to work with the same people that raided my town when I was a kid,
Mhm.
and I was on their pirate ship. So that's kind of where like my story continues from there. Um, I spent months on the ship trying to heal and like recover from that severe beating that I took. I was in the bottom of the ship next to like the rats and the like all the waste and the dirtiness of
Mhm.
sailing. So it wasn't an easy time healing. Like I wasn't in a sterile environment. Um, when I was well enough to stand and open my eyes and hear, because like I just got destroyed by these guys. I was chained and I took my place at a bench and I became one of the ship's 2 dozen warmen. I don't exactly know the term, but I basically was sitting on a bench with all these guys rowing the ship to the beat of a drum. Basically, only getting rests when the pirates went to shore to rape and pillage.
Wow. Mhm.
And day turned into night. Like it was an undetermined number amount of time that I was on the ship. Um, and I just kind of made up this fact. Like the life expectancy of Orman really rarely reaches 5 years. Like it's a brutal life, and you're not expected to live very long. So um, I saw just about every person die from exhaustion at the hands of the pirates for not keeping up with the rowing demands.
Sorry.
I I knew I only know that 51 slaves died while I was rowing, and I know that because every slave that died, I notched a mark into my oar.
Okay.
So that's the only way I could keep track of any sense of time, because the hole that the ore comes out of isn't that big, and a lot of times there's storms on the sea and you can't really see the sun, so it just kind of blended into one big long torturous time in my life.
Wow.
It was just impossible to tell what time of day it was, so I kept track of time by death, so which is really abstract. But one night when the ship came under attack by another group of marauders, they decimated the ship. Blast after cannonball blast impaled the ship until I finally, after one devastating explosion, knocked me free from my chains and sent me plummeting into the dark, cold sea. So that's how I get off of the ship. I came to, I'm assuming a couple days later, washed up on a shore with debris and dead bodies everywhere. I looked next to my head and there was my oar. So my oar most likely saved me because of its buoyancy. And yeah, possibly there was some kind of magic in the oar with the 51 sailors, my companions, who helped me guide me to shore. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the oar now never leaves my side. As a free man, I try to be good and do the right thing, but my troubled past makes it hard to put trust into people. I spend a lot of my time in bars now, trying to drink away my past.
Okay.
My physique.
Can we hold on to
Sure.
that part of the
Yeah.
story? And most likely, I'd like to develop the world of this village that you wash up on.
Sure.
And it might, you could go straight to the tavern, you know, and then we can, you know, get into the, you know, if
Sure.
I want to roll a random table for that.
Okay.
But that was a huge amount of backstory.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Thanks. You're gonna do something, do it, you know?
Yeah, this is it, man. Yeah, you're gonna be a shining example, other players out there.
Or
Watch this video.
or a nuisance.
Okay.
Like, no, great. Now I gotta like.
I want to tell everybody to do their homework, their 2-page essay, and then they can play the game. So let's onboard you, and I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna make a new monk character, Sailor, with a little history, and we'll start at level 1. Although, yeah, we'll get to some things that I will allow or benefit or whatever as we go along. So we're on DnD Beyond, folks, watching this from the YouTube ether. We've got an account and like to use this in a virtual setting. But once you have the character, it's nice to print it out and have paper and pencil. And oh my gosh, write a journal, keep notes, play, have fun.
Definitely something I gotta get better at doing. Nikki takes amazing notes.
Like, so does Reed.
I think most of us like basically rely on those guys to like remember what we have in our bag of holding and remember the backstory and stuff.
Reed was marking every like damage point, so he had a tally of who was doing the most damage. I was like, this is crazy.
That's a
might as well dungeon master this thing.
That's a barbarian thing to do right there. Like that's a more like macho.
He's keeping score. Okay. So as a monk in DnD Beyond, I'll back up one screen. The home screen shows you character preferences. We're going to definitely homebrew this. We'll keep the expanded rule options open, and the 2014 core rules, just in case there's something we want to grab, and any legacy sources. So we're just going to keep all, basically anything goes this time around. In my first campaign, I didn't want anything crazy, so there was no multi-classing. So right here, optional features, optional class feature, optional class features, allow or restrict, customize your origin. This is like, Optional class features. I think I want to leave some of this pretty much just like as the default, so that we play the new rules for the most part. So I would unclick 2014, but I don't know. Should I unclick it? See what happens? We can always go back. Yeah, let's unclick it. Let's unclick it and see what happens. And if that gets rid of the sailor feature, background story, we'll find out quick enough.
Okay.
And we'll leave that the same. Milestone, advancement type. So here, if you want to keep track of your experience points, you can do that on your character. So that's good to do. The high level thing we're doing with Vecna, we're not really keeping track of experience. It's chapter to chapter, is level to level.
Is that like a thing? Like after each enemy dies, you would tell us you get 63 experience points or whatever.
Yep. Okay. And then you got to divide it between your parties.
Gotcha.
So if it says the monster's 100 XP and there's 4 players, you all get 25.
Gotcha. Do people do like? Well, since you did a lot more of the work, you get 50 and you can have 10, or is it pretty much just even?
No, yeah, it doesn't matter who helped. And
gotcha. Yeah, XP is kind of like a new thing to me. You just were telling us, okay, level up.
Yeah, so that'll be new to you. That's why I want to start at 1. We'll just figure out some of these new mechanics and figure out that backstory, because I can lean in when you give me that kind of content. I've got some random cities I would actually handpick, but I want to roll the dice and see what happens, where you wash up. So we'll go with XP. Hit point is fixed. I like fixed. We can change that to manual and see how it goes. Now that I'm in basically, I want to say year 2, year 3 of DMing. You'll just have to keep track and roll the dice manually when you level up, and then change the value of your hit points when you level up. So that's kind of new too. Prerequisites.
Is that like a thing where my hit points could be bad if I roll bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy.
There's we'll probably let you roll twice and take the higher or something, or you can't roll less. You can't roll like a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
If you get a 1 or a 2, you can re-roll, kind of thing. So
can you have like bardic inspiration on you when you do that?
No, I don't think so. No. Yeah, it's you roll high or you roll low, and I think the fixed is like that average. So they give you like 6 out of 8.
Okay.
But you could have got an 8, or I think you start with max at these low levels, and we might do that. Like I'll be generous in the beginning, but as you level up, you will definitely have to roll these dice.
Okay.
We'll show everything else the same, and go to the next screen. So now with a couple of modifications, our new monk wants to be a monk. And here you have all your class options. And we have the monk that shows at level 1, you will gain these traits. You want dexterity and wisdom to be your primary ability. You roll that D8 as your hit point dice. You'll gain these skills. You can choose 2. We'll go through all of this stuff. And the cool thing about DnD Beyond is it'll show all of these in drop downs. Picking your tools, like you're saying, glassblower and stuff, and then starting equipment. So we really don't need to read a lot about this. As level 1, you will gain unarmed strike, bonus unarmed strike. So you will make, you can make an unarmed strike as a bonus action.
Nice. Double dukes.
Yeah, so you could swing and then still bonus action punch. Or punch twice. And then martial arts die, you can roll a d6 in place of your normal damage. So instead of like people can only hit unarmed for like 2 damage or 4, a monk can roll a d6. And it gets better as you level up. You have dexterous attacks, so you can use your dex modifier instead of strength. So we will be getting into your abilities soon. You also have unarmored defense. So when you're not wearing armor or wearing a shield, your base armor class equals 10 plus your wisdom and dex modifiers. So as you level all those bonuses up, it increases your armor class. And we'll leave it at that because you're only level 1. So we'll add that class. And let's look at those. So these skill proficiencies I like to do at the end.
Okay.
And we kind of know your tool. Does Glassblower actually show up here? That's an easy one to pick.
Yep.
And I like to do these later because when you pick your background, it'll give you some automatic things, so you don't pick things twice.
Okay.
So we'll leave that the big explanation. It shows up in blue. People haven't used DnD Beyond much. It shows this in blue, meaning you have not made a choice, all your choices yet. So you need to go back to that.
Yeah, on my screen, I don't actually have the field core monk traits. It's weird. I have one called hit points. So that's weird.
Hit points is up here.
Yep.
Do you want to roll a D? Well, let's see. Your abilities will affect this. So let's go to that background. And I believe you were looking for Sailor, which is in the core rules. Why? You were saying you couldn't find that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. It's weird between me and you. Sometimes I don't have things that you have, even though I'm using your resources. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that because I know you were looking at this stuff. It's good to have. That's why it's good to have.
Yep.
A physical copy of the player's handbook so you can surf around, see this, pick what you're interested in, and then you pick the drop down box in D&D Beyond and it'll do all the math, all the modifiers for you. So that's something I wanted to say on the stream. The cool thing about D&D Beyond is it does a lot of the math modifications and choices like this. You have one choice now. So you, as a sailor, are proficient. You have, seafarer, wind at your back, decks swaying beneath your feet. You've perched. You're on bar stools and more parts than you can call and remember. You have a different story.
Yeah.
Face many storms, swapped stories with folk who live beneath the waves. So you have an ability score increase on strength and dexterity and wisdom, and you gain the feat Tavern Brawler. Brawler gives you this is an origin feat, so background feat. So enhanced unarmed strike. When you hit with unarmed strike, you deal damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength modifier instead of normal damage of an unarmed strike. Well, that's kind of doubling down on the monk, Steve, because you're gonna do 1d6 plus these things.
Yep.
So that you can't stack this. You won't be able to do a 1d6 and a 1d4.
Right.
I don't think
that's okay. I wasn't worried about that. I
Okay.
liked the Tavern Brawler because of the other other traits.
All right. Let's look at that. So we have re-rolls. Whenever you roll on an unarmed strike and you roll a 1, you can roll again, and you have to use the new roll. So if you roll a 1 again,
So if you read it up and do 2 crit ones, then you're screwed. But
yeah.
this is my favorite part. I like the improvised weaponry. I
Okay.
think that could be fun.
Proficiency and improvised weapons. So yeah, bar stool or your oar, and or any other improvised weapon.
Yep, a candelabra.
Stand, drunken master style.
Yep.
So that definitely works with a monk. You can push when you hit a creature with unarmed strike as part of your attack. You can deal damage and also push it away from you. Okay, so you can push, you can improvise, you can re-roll. That's pretty good. Pretty good. So, yep, there's just one that's kind of not stackable, but Tavern Brawler is a good feat. Shoot, I gotta go backwards. Is it gonna let me do that? Okay. That's the tough part about the sharing the screen. It doesn't actually tab over. It stays on one screen. So I'll have to watch what I do here. Good choice. So on top of that, as a sailor, you can choose between strength, dexterity, and wisdom. Increase a few of these scores. Do you know what you did before? Do you want to do 1, 1, 1, or
I did 2. I did 2 and 1. So I did 1 to wisdom and 2 to dex.
Sounds appropriate. We can always change that later as we go to the next screen, which is your species.
You know, I was a little hesitant to pick human, but I think I feel like humans can get, there can be powerful humans, but I feel like humans they could be the kind that would get sold into slavery. The handbook doesn't have all of the races in it either, so I didn't know.
I'd like to stick to the core rule races if we can. So if you look at these dozen things
I've been playing human my whole life, so I'm not opposed to just sticking with it. So
okay.
I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to be the bird, but so you can like end up flying and like using your talons to hit. But that wasn't in this book, so I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. So if I scroll down, there's the Araka, Karaka, and Asimir and other options. But I really want us to lean into the 2024 rules as much as possible. So monk, good, and the subclass, when we get there, they'll be good. And if you change your mind later from any of these 10 things, that's fine. But let's stick with human. That gives you speed of 30. It gives you historic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool. That's like DM inspiration. So that's why you start with that. Wow, that's cool. You gain a skill and an origin feat of your choice. So you get another feat. Very cool. Yeah, this looks good. So your size will be medium?
Medium, yeah.
Normal human. And we've got a skill to pick. So here, see how it says acrobatic sailor? This is where that's why I wait on some of this stuff, because it picks some for you.
I picked acrobatics somewhere else. I used perception on this one.
Okay. That's already picked also.
Oh, it is.
This is you already get perception as a sailor.
Oh, I must have changed it. It must be on a different menu.
Well, can you just name something? Anything else?
Sure. What's left on there?
We got it all.
I'm not seeing your drop down.
Oh shoot. No. So I've been talking this whole time and it's not. Let me stop sharing. Let's try that again. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Window. Chrome tab. I thought that was it. Chrome tab. Let's try it again. Nope, it's not dropping down. Let me try do the other option.
Let me open up my mobile app and I'll just see what I picked. I can look at my player sheet.
Well, I can share my window. It's a different type of option. And then, that doesn't work either.
I chose acrobatics.
I mean, it's good. It's okay. You can bypass it, but for the video.
Sure. Acrobatics, athletics, insight, intimidation. Yeah, any one of those. Perception, sleight of hand, and stealth. Any one of those.
Well, what's the top 3 other than acrobatics and perception?
Athletics, maybe.
Okay, athletics. Okay, so I picked athletics, and dang, so it's showing that drop down. It's not showing that. That's not cool. That's not how I wanted to do this video. I swear I figured this out before. Stop share, present. It's not a slide. It's share screen. I swear it's entire screen. There's a third option. Let me try it. I don't know. Hey! There it is. Okay. Wow, the third option. I'm glad I tried.
It's the third one.
Third time's a charm.
So
versatile. So here's where you pick a feat. Did you do this already? There's a lot. I mean, so I only picked the core rules, and this is where you might only see. I don't know.
Right now, it's showing skilled.
Skilled. Okay.
Yes.
And that's where you get more tool choices.
Yep. So here I picked athletics, but we already picked it. So is insight available?
None of those are available. These skills are for like crafting. This is where if you wanted to be well,
there's insight.
If you wanted to be those are on there. Okay. My bad. Insight. There we go.
What about intimidation? Is that one available?
You can check. Oh, it's a skill or a tool. Okay. My bad. Intimidation. Yes.
And then I picked vehicles water.
Okay. Yeah.
It makes sense to me,
Yeah. Okay. Vehicles water. Perfect. I like it. Languages is also on the screen. It only gives you common. So do you have, as a human, any other languages you'd like to learn?
I have 2. I picked Elvish, and I know before the stream I was talking about potentially this third language. Yeah. I don't know if I should just say it.
Sure.
I'm just gonna say orc.
Orc. Just say orc and don't say why. So elves and orcs, that works. Okay, we have your species and all the traits that go along with it. That's quite a good upgrade. And this is where we go to abilities, and I like the point buy system.
That's what I used. So good.
You want to go high dex?
Yep, I maxed out dexterity and wisdom. Charisma was my lowest. I figured I've spent my whole life in slavery and I haven't been too social, and when I'm at the bar, I'm not really there for the company. I'm there to forget. So yeah. I'm not I'm not too talkative, and I'm not very charismatic. So
Where do you want the other 9 points remaining?
Constitution was 13. I figured, you got to take a hit. And then strength and intelligence were both 10.
Okay. I like that. So right now, with your modifier from Sailor, you're 17 Dex and +1 Wisdom from, I think, that human trait. And it says that Sailor trait right down here in your modifiers. And once we have that, we can go back to...
So before we do that, is it a D&D thing where your least highest trait gets a -1 modifier? Is that like a thing? Because it didn't matter what I did, like which stat I chose as my lowest one, it would always give me a -1 modifier to my lowest one, even if I had 2 that were tied.
So the modifier changes on even numbers.
Okay.
So at 8, you're on a -1. At 10, you're a 0.
Gotcha.
At 12, you're a +1, but also at 13, you're only +1.
Okay. All right.
At 14 and 15, you'll get +2, et cetera, et cetera. So you have +3 from your 16 and 17 stat.
Okay.
So yeah, you can't unless you lower something so that you can add 2 there.
Gotcha.
I'm
gonna miss being a bard, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you won't have the charisma. That's
I had the
fine.
silver tongue.
Yeah, it is definitely a different character here.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that class because your monk traits have these skill proficiencies, and all you have left here is stealth, I believe you wanted.
Yep, stealth.
And history or religion.
Acrobatics. The first one, can I use acrobatics, or is that like a passive?
You already have it. I think if I pick it, it might force the sailor one out. Let's try.
Because I interpreted...
Yeah, it's removed from your background proficiency.
Oh, okay.
Then you can't have it twice.
Gotcha.
So background, choose a skill. That's where you had sailor.
Okay. I was assuming that parentheses meant that's a trait because of being a sailor and you can pick it. So, okay.
Is it here then? I mean, but you picked it, so that's fine. You can pick a different one here.
Because like on my screen, it shows that I have it.
Yeah, yeah. No, you have it. This is fine. We just picked it earlier. We should have. So what else did you want that you picked earlier that we don't have?
Let's see. Do you have perception? Yeah, that one's not there. Sleight of hand or stealth? Sleight of hand. There you go.
Sleight of hand?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So sorry, yeah, I do that backwards, but this one's actually the class forces you to only have a couple of options here.
Okay.
It was backwards for me. That's weird. Maybe it's where it used to be in a different order on DnD Beyond. So we have the monk at level 1. That's done. Do you want
you show me? I think I'm just going to use your character that you're creating right now because it shows me having 9 hit points and you had 13. So I'm not sure.
Well, we haven't rolled yet. Let's look at hit points as in class.
Yeah.
Max hit points 13.
And mine says 9. So again, we're not matching up. So I'm just going to use.
Well,
I don't know why I get less hit.
Manage hit points. So.
Well, let's just keep going. Maybe
it says you rolled a 12. You get a +1 from Constitution. Fixed value 9. Why do you have 13? Your hit points is determined by the number you roll for your hit dice each level, or a fixed value determined by your hit dice. And that's why I usually do fixed value. The number you roll. So how did you roll a 12?
I don't remember rolling anything.
I know we didn't. That's why I'm just trying to referee this thing.
Because I think if I would have rolled, it would have been a 20.
Well, I don't know that you get to
No, I'm just kidding.
roll a.
Yeah, because I would have rolled a.
There's no advice here. It says roll a d8.
Yeah.
And then add 1. So you can't. I don't. But it's advising a 13. Your hit point maximum is determined by the number you roll for your hit dice each level.
Is my level plus the Constitution? Is that 2 then? Maybe there's 2 more.
No, I'm pretty sure you have a +1. Constitution 13.
Because I am level 1, would that 1 be a?
So let's since we're making little adjustments. So if you want to take a point away from something else and add it to Constitution, you'll get to that 14, and you'll have that +2. Yeah. Or because you're a monk, it's taking it from something else.
Well, maybe let's just keep going, and we'll worry about that later.
Yeah. Well, this is something we got to figure out.
Because technically, my character here is like completely done, and maybe there's something else that I did that's subtracting more HP than yours.
Well, that's why I always do fixed. That's why I usually do fixed. So if I change hit point type, when leveling up, increase hit points by the fixed value for your chosen class, or enter manually. But how do you roll it? It hasn't been rolled.
Was that a spot before you could enter in what number you rolled?
Not here, no. Yeah, like here's so if I change this to fix, confirm it, it goes to 9.
Yeah.
So somehow it thinks you can roll a d12.
Which is interesting because right now my hit point type is manual. I changed it when you said we should do manual, so that's weird.
Yeah.
I think my computer's broken.
I think I want you guys to roll for it because it's funner. So I'm going to change it back to manual. And now it's 9. Weird. I think it like the max roll is a 12. And until you pick your class,
okay,
it shouldn't give you the hit points. So it maybe when we hit the character thing, it would change. Species. Because we haven't hit that thing. Let's look at your equipment because that's the last tab. What equipment would you like to start off with?
Well, I don't know. I guess you didn't do this, but when I started creating it, it automatically gave me a quarterstaff +2. But I was thinking I would use my oar. So I don't know if you wanted to like homebrew something for an oar.
Well, take a look at this. Would you rather have artisan tools or a musical instrument, or navigator tools?
Navigator tools. Somewhere in my creation, I thought I had navigator's tools. Like you're getting a bunch of options that I'm not having. So I think maybe my D&D isn't correct. Like I think maybe my site is not like the right cookies.
Well, plus once you pick this and then add it.
Yeah, I didn't get to do any of that.
You can look at it again and pick another one and add it, and it'll double down. And that's not what we want to do. So we're going to give you the dagger and the navigator tools and the rope and the clothes. And what we'll do is
Because like my
you
dagger,
also,
I feel like
yep.
my dagger, I'm just gonna be like opening letters with it, right? Because I'm not gonna have any kind of. Can I
No.
fight with a dagger?
So a dagger is a common weapon, and you are. Let's go to your sheet now, because it's easier to find on here. So in here, your weapons. You are proficient with simple weapons and short swords and hand crossbows, but as a monk, you really not you don't want to use you want to most likely do unarmed strikes a lot.
Right.
So you can have a dagger, you can have a short sword, whether you want to use it, because all the bonuses on unarmed strike is where, and even the ore that you want. So we can do that. So in your inventory, you got to actually equip the dagger for it to show up in your actions. So you have that. It's the same, you just don't. But it is simple, and it is finesse, and it is light and thrown, and you don't have weapon mastery as a feat, and you probably don't want that as a monk, because you're going to be hitting with your hands or kicking or headbutting or however you want to improvise that.
Or
but any other weapon driven characters, I'm gonna advise to take weapon mastery, because it would be cool flavor.
Yeah,
but the monk is improved with things like you can push with your tavern brawler, so that is kind of like a weapon mastery thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to just like homebrew me an ore, because like the ore is gonna be my quarterstaff, essentially. So like I would be punching with my fists and swinging the ore around.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you, so
And I didn't know like if like later on like super high level, like the 51 notches from my fallen slave companions, if that could somehow like imbue it with some kind of power later on.
What is going on here? How come there's no color here? DnD Beyond. Sometimes.
Why are you
Weird. How come the coloring is gone?
Yeah, my version of DnD Beyond like automatically gave me a quarterstaff +2. I don't know.
You can't do that though. You probably looked at it and added it.
Yeah, maybe it was like, because I did set this up like a month ago, so maybe I was just like looking through all the weapons and like, oh, here's a nice one, put it in there.
All right, so I'll homebrew this later. I don't want to probably walk through. I might do my own videos where I show some world building and maybe some home brewing.
Oh, now
now you can see it. Maybe there's just that many simple weapons. So green is a level down. Shouldn't be that much. And I might give it some other flavor. I like this one though. Quarterstaff of Warning. As long as the weapon is within your reach and you're attuned to it, you and your allies magically awakened. A subject that is sleeping naturally when combat a bit.
Get up, bam.
So it's like your alertness, like when you're rowing and stuff, it's like you start to fall asleep. You're like, whoa,
Sure. That sounds cool.
So basically, this benefit doesn't wake a subject magically induced, but it would help like your compatriots like stay awake while they're rowing. Kind of a weird feature, but that's kind of the level. Or we just go with a +1.
Who are those purple ones? Go down to the purple ones.
No, yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. But I like your story. I definitely want to reward you with a. Let's just say a +1.
Okay.
The alert one is to. So I'll change it to a wooden ore of +1 at some point.
Okay.
But we'll add the quarterstaff +1. As a level 1 character, that's nice to start off with. You didn't have to buy it. You took it off the ship. So that's the reward for that storytelling. And I think, yeah, you leaned in on all the other traits really well. And I think I want to reward you with a free feat at level 1.
Well, the other feat that I was interested in, I don't know if I can take it right away, but I wanted to use the grappler feat.
Grappler. I don't see it but I did unclick things, remember?
Yeah. Let me quick look at that, because I wonder, that might be a feat that you maybe get later on.
It might. Let's go back to your world builder here. Let's add in the 2014 core rules. Go back to here, and I want to reward your storytelling with.
I see. Grappler is level 4, so.
Oh yeah, so you can't pick it from feats. But at level 1, I want to award you with something from this list. So the alert feature is here.
I do.
Crafter is here. Tool fishing, fast crafting. Kind of cool. That plays into your character. Healer, lucky, magic, musician, savage attacker, skilled. We already picked skilled.
What is savage attacker?
Trained to deal particular damage strikes. Once per turn, you hit a target with a weapon. You reroll the weapon's damage twice.
Now, as a DM, is that going to get annoying if I'm going to be rolling like all these roll to hits and all these things, and then like all these damages, and then like, oh, then I can re-roll my thing 2 more times?
Yeah, no, it's part of the game. It's fine, and it's all here as long as that's why starting at level 1, you start to memorize it and know it and not forget it. But I would not pick this because it's about a weapon.
Sure. We got tough.
Tough is hit point maximum increases by an equal to twice your character level when you gain this feat. Whenever you gain a character level thereafter, your hit point maximum increases by 2 hit points.
And I kind of liked alert. Do I get any of the expanded rules, or is it just as it ends with tough?
If the flavor's there, I think that's fine. I just like to start there because I'm trying to lean into all these rules, and there might be something fun there.
What was alert again? The game automatically set me up with alert before I could switch to sailor. I kind of like the idea of like switching my initiative with someone else.
Yeah, you can swap initiatives, and you add your proficiency to the initiative roll. So
like that would be one. That'd be one I might want to use. I like that. I like I do like the idea of being selfless to a point and letting someone else take my turn.
Let's look, and there's a lot here.
Mhm.
Is Grappler now on here? Oh, you said it was a higher level, so it's
Yeah, Grappler is level 4. So
let's look at a few of these. We have Artificer, which might, fit in with
a spell list, though. It says you learn a cantrip choice from a spell list. What's Crusher?
Crusher. Crushing your enemy. Increase your strength or constitution by 1. Constitution.
And it says like once per turn when you hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, which is what I'm doing, you can move 5 feet.
Move it 5 feet to an unoccupied space.
Which
so
I'm gonna be moving people anyway.
Push it, yeah. It's use attack roll. When you score a critical hit that deals bludgeoning, what you do, attack rolls against the creature are made with advantage until the start of your next turn. That's pretty dope. So I'm not sure if everything there is what you want. And again, we can, maybe figure this out later.
Sure.
But or change it later. Poison / pierce. I don't think any of these are going to be I think I want to give you tough for now, and that'll add hit points.
Okay.
And every time you level up, it adds hit points.
Right.
We add that, and
my past has been pretty tough, so.
And then and now you have 11 hit points. It did that automatically. And then you don't have to remember anything else weird.
Sure.
It automatically does it. So you just got to remember that when you level up, that you can add. Just you'll have to read it every time. Increases by 2 when you take the feat, and then whenever you level up,
I get extra.
You gain 2 every time you level. So it's just a +2 every level.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty easy math. Okay, so there's your bonus, Steve, for doing such an awesome job at the backstory. And then the magic weapon is also in your possession. Doesn't look like you have to attune to it. I will homebrew or something, come up with a cool name, and try to put it in your inventory when I can. What else? You have any other questions about that? Because
not right now, no. I see I got some gold already. That's nice.
Yeah, that's your starting gold, and you wash up onto shore. And let's do a random table. Let's hold on. So go to builder. Well, I'll leave it in my court here. You should be able to, when you're ready, go to the campaign and select the character as your own now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna roll some dice. Hitting the top of the hour, but I think what I would like to do is give you more story to add to your story, and then we can think about it and come back and maybe do a level 1 adventure in this town.
Sure. I do have like a little bit left, but it's not a whole lot. It's more not so much backstory, but maybe like character attributes in a way.
Okay, what were we thinking?
So like I just want to say like my physique, like you can tell at one time I was in peak form.
Okay.
Because like I've been like basically active for years.
Hey, that goes with the tough.
Right. And but the depression and the constant alcoholism,
Yeah.
it's starting to show. Like you can tell I'm gaining a little weight. So
Okay.
I might be getting kind of like maybe a little bit of a pot belly, that kind of thing. My face might be feeling a little, like you can still tell like
I think I want to save that for level 2.
all right.
That's me making a DM
Yeah.
choice there. I don't know that I don't know that I want to do that part of the story yet.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do for all of your level 1 is go to the bar and just drink it off, then we'll figure it and just get into bar fights, and that's how you get XP. That's one way to play it.
Yeah, I kind of, when I was envisioning this guy, it's just a guy who had a hard past and he's spent a lot of time trying to forget his past. So
yeah, no, that we're on the cusp of that right now.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else? Is everything else beyond that?
That's pretty much it. It's just stuff that we kind of went over with, and it doesn't make sense to like rehash it. So
okay, well, you can bring it up later when
Yeah.
I think what we'll do another night is maybe with another character if somebody decides and gets their stuff together. If the coastal city village that you're going to wash up onto shore here makes sense with somebody else, and if you'll allow it.
I was just gonna say that ore that I have with all the notched things, it's there to remind me where I came from, and it
Yeah.
I kind of like see it as like an object of empowerment. Like
Oh yeah.
it gives me strength not to give up. So
Yeah.
like
And
my
you might
ore,
even just like, shoulder it and holster it and
right,
use,
right.
but you're doing a lot of fisticuffs.
It's just there to like as like a symbol not to give up. So
Okay.
even though I'm like super depressed, I'm still I'm not.
You have a spark
Yeah.
from your past and your trials and tribulations there from the ship. A reminder of all the friends, if you can call them companions on the ship. The slave owners were forcing you guys to work and row,
Right.
and of course that's where the water element comes in your story. And you wash up onto shore of a coastal area, and I've got this book that I just got like yesterday. This is brand new out the box. It is the Game Master's Book of Instant Towns and Cities by Jeff Ashworth, and Bob the Builder is another guy you can follow.
Hey, my kids are a fan of that guy.
And Bob the World Builder. And he is part of the storytelling in here and creating this book. So shout out to Bob the World Builder, and I'm gonna start world building, so I might have to watch more of his show. And we're gonna start right here, but you're gonna roll the dice, Steve.
All right.
I want you to get a D12, or you can roll digital. That way I can see it. That'd be cool.
Yep.
Either way.
I'll be honest. I don't have dice, so I'll be honest.
We need to get you some dice. So roll. You know how to pull just a D12 from the dice thing, and then just give us a. There we go. Here
I
it
rolled
comes.
a 2.
You rolled a 2. Okay.
Yeah, there you can actually see it on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, this is crazy. So 2. No lie. Is kind of really grim for your story because you wash up on the shore of a town that's named after the prison island that's close by. And that is named Thelsinor Prison. Thelsinor Prison, named for the imposing structure the village it was built around. Thelsinor Prison is a grim little hamlet dedicated to maintaining a penitentiary of dangerous criminals. The prison itself occupies a small rocky island in the middle of a stormy sea, and those employed as opposed to the incarcerated here dwell in ramshackle structures that ringing the prison's exterior and in small sturdy houseboats anchored to this island. So this is where you wash up. Now there is like a little town nearby that you wouldn't wash up on the prison.
Yeah.
I mean that
I just got freed.
It just right, but you're near this prison in this populated little village, if you will. It's got a population size of 900. It says mostly human, 60% fishing and labor prison town. So the warden Null. I'm just gonna read most of it. It's just it's a half a page thing. Gives and it'll give you more flavor about like going to the bar, I guess. Warden Null uses the prison's location as a means to facilitate trade with the mainland. So you wash up on the mainland and turn a profit by putting the prisoners to work. You find this out after a couple of nights of drinking, The village is almost entirely populated by guards and fishermen, although a good number of seafarers use Thelsinor Prison as a place to rest and restock while on longer voyages. No matter how often they visit, visitors are watched with suspicion. So I don't think I'm going to get too much more into the warden, but I have some flavor now to read on our first part of the world building we're building around this prison and your backstory of washing up off the shipwreck. So there we go. I think that I'll leave it at that, actually, and I'll start thinking about more things because I've got I've got the warden. I've got a parolee, and I've got some other things I can talk about later. So the fact that you wash up on the shores of a prison town has just got you like really on guard, I would say. And you're trying to gather your will to just survive. And some of these other little towns mention what the tavern is called or whatever. And since it doesn't in here, that's another table we can roll for.
Right. My favorite spot.
We'll use the random tables. And we'll really quickly here. Pretty sure.
I should have asked you how to spell the name of the city.
Yeah, no, because that's the wrong book. Yep, and I can share some of this. And if you want, I took notes on your story, so I think I got it. Thelsinor. Thelsinor Prison. And the warden is named Warden Null. And we'll leave it at that.
So the city is called Thelsinor?
Yeah. It's named after the prison.
Okay, gotcha.
It's
grim.
Yeah. So Thelsinor Prison. And so there's basically a little town with a series of interconnected buildings. It's called Fisher's Find, and it includes a tavern, a trading hall, and merchant stalls. And this is run by a parolee, Jens Leary. Jens Leary. Jens Leary. So we have a town, we have a small series of buildings by this prison. There's the mainland, and then there's, the heavily guarded island. It's, what is it? Alcatraz, basically. Yeah. And you can go to the tavern in the Fisher's Find area, and we could possibly try to name the tavern. I thought this is encounters. Where's the tavern namer? I thought it was in this other book. And
I know how I got that 12. Because when I was messing around with my other character, I rolled a 12 charisma check for something. I think that's where that 12 came from. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Here we go. Taverns. Well, this is more. Maybe I need to save this to flavor the right one. I do have some taverns and stuff, but this has. Maybe I got to pick the right one. I don't want to do the wrong one. And that's enough for tonight. We got over an hour in. Should have probably stopped short instead. All right. Thanks for being here. And anybody looking to see this new Sailor Monk, how do you say the name?
Sweedmo Joon.
Sweedmo Joon.
Yep. Sweedmo is basically my name.
Sweedmo.
I couldn't find the way to make an E with a straight line over the top of it. I couldn't figure it out. So too easy it is. One for each fist.
Sounds good. We have our first player for our new campaign, and we'll do a little bit of level 1 stuff and try to get more players interact with backstories, and it'll probably air actual play, with a whole party next year. So we'll have the holidays and stuff to get through some of this session 0 stuff. But until then, we can do like some low level stuff and continue Vecna, or you could drop out of Vecna and let those guys figure it out. And there we go. All right. Look for Steve Pulda on Instagrams, and I am Jesse's Brick Galaxy, and the rest of Critical Bricks, or I might call this one Homebrew Bricks, or I might come up with an actual name for the world soon as I get into more world building videos and D&D and Lego. I've got some other Lego D&D how to play things. It's been fun. It's like all I'm doing now. I'm not really mocking anymore. But it is what it is. As long as we're having fun, then that's the goal. So thanks again, and people in the replay watching this non-live video, thanks for tuning in, and leave a comment, leave a like, do some subscribing, or find some of our friends that are doing these videos, and we will catch you on the next one.